You're listening to Pro Booth Talk, education and insights for photo booth company owners.
Welcome back to Pro Booth Talk. Hi
Everybody.
So we have both been pretty busy and so behind. I think I mentioned this on the last episode, but we're scrambling to add topics. Typically I have a one sheet for us to kind of follow and whatnot, but we're just okay, we don't have anything prepared. What do we want to talk about today? So apologies if we're kind of all over the place, but
we've been busy.
But we haven't missed an episode yet.
Yeah.
We haven't missed any episodes. We've been true to every Wednesday releases. So hopefully in the summer when we slow down, we'll be able to get caught up and get a ton of episodes banked again.
Jason, you slow down in the summer. Summers are pretty busy here in LA area. We're pretty busy in the summer.
Well,
in the heat.
I mean, a lot of the back end stuff is done by me though. So if I'm more slow than generally you find out what topic we're talking about when we get on anyway. So
the day
yeah. So your busyness isn't quite as relevant as how busy I am as far as getting things banked and recorded and edited, and because I'm doing all those editing.
Jason does all the work, you guys. He literally does all the work. I just show up to record. That's it.
Yeah. So don't want to hear about how busy you are.
I know.
But, yeah,
sorry.
It's been busy.
It's
been busy. And this past week,
we
did two things that we had never done before. Actually, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. So we had never done the sketch bots before. We had always kind of included them in our quotes, hoping someone would pay enough to make it make sense for us to purchase them.
Yeah.
And people don't. But someone reached out to us specifically. It wasn't even something we included in the quote, and just asked if we had this, and it was only 9 days away, so I was kind of reluctant.
You mentioned it on the last recording we did.
No, I think I just mentioned it when we were talking on the phone the other day.
Oh.
Because it was only 9 days ago or something. Maybe I did on the last recording. I don't know, but I reached out to the gentleman over there at Sketchbots, and they
made it happen.
Yeah, they rushed it over. I had a couple days of testing, and that event was 2 days ago. It was really good. We posted some stuff on Instagram, so go check that out. And we also we created this hologram-esque product for a WIPA event. We had a WIPA presentation because I'm on the board for the local WIPA chapter, and one of the planners came in and presented and wanted to do a future-themed event, and the host for the event was going to be a hologram, or that was her goal at least. So I was trying to think of what I could do for this event that was hologram-esque. So I came up with a product that is like a simulated hologram. Of course, it's not a real hologram, but I spent a couple weeks designing that and testing it and troubleshooting, and debuted that on the same night, and went over really well.
That's awesome. Was it a video? Did you do it as a video experience or a photo experience or a combo of both? Because I feel like now you have the capability, like a physical product, or
yeah, we did it as a video. I could see if I know some people are podcasting and some people are YouTubing, but for the people that are YouTubing, I'll try and see if I have one very handy, and I will
a couple
show
weeks
you what it is.
It's quite a bit of time to have for planning and configuring that. I feel like it's not always, I feel like a lot of things that get thrown into our laps is always very last minute. Like the whole 9-day sketchbot thing, that's more in line with what I'm used to, or 2 days before.
Yeah, and the sketchbot was pretty easy to get set up and whatnot. So if someone reached out to me
now
and needed it in 3 or 4 days, then I think that would be easy to execute. But it was, I wasn't familiar with it. I didn't know if it could get here on time. So that was a little nerve-wracking, certainly. But
that's what we do, though. I feel like a lot of the experiences that we bring, especially when you start exploring outside of the box type of experiences, a lot of this is just us kind of winging it and, figuring it out as the days approach. And a lot of times we're on a time crunch. And I don't think we talk about how it really takes a lot of grit and you really just have to be pretty brave to be able to do this, right? Because you don't want to say
it's
no.
not only brave, you have to have, like a certain amount of like, you have to be able to handle these stressful situations
The
well. Like,
pressure.
yeah, because I mean, if you can't organize your time or priorities very well, then you certainly can't, take a short order job and have it ready.
I just feel like a lot of discussions that I see is like where you get approached with a project and it's like, no, this is not enough time. I can't take this on. Like there's some companies that just they're quick to say no just because the challenge of like the timeline scares them. And I feel like in the industry that we're in, you can't let the very tight timeline scare you, right? Like I've been thrown things the day before the event.
Yeah, and it seems like right now, especially, it seems like there's a lot of very last minute things going on.
Now, recently, it's been like that.
Yeah,
That's been
but
my
it hasn't
norm for
let
like
up. Like it's just
years.
been constant. Like we booked 3 jobs in the past day or two, and well, just yesterday, and they're all for within like 6 days.
Yeah, that's
Which internally that's fine, but like for staffing, it's kind of difficult. I
yeah.
don't know how well you could see that.
Oh, wow. Yes, I remember this. We talked about this. That is really cool. For anybody who's not
Mhm.
watching this on YouTube,
Logo.
it's a whole video encased inside a pyramid. So cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, so it's like a 3-second video, and then we loop it and go back and forth in reverse to extend it out to about 8 seconds. And we give everybody these little pyramids that they can take away, so they only need one, regardless of how many times they go back and do it over and over again and whatnot. But it went over really well. I don't know if I'll get any bookings for this new product because it is kind of a niche. Like, what can you really do with that? We didn't record any audio, but we were kind of thinking like maybe we should do like a like little messages, like little hologram messages, like "I love you so much," and then you have the little hologram of the person saying that instead. So
Yeah, like a video version of the telephone booths. What I love about it is, and we've talked about this before, like you bring unique products like this to networking events, and not you don't necessarily you may or may not book that event or that service, but just the fact that you are showcasing that you can bring something else to the table that the rest of the industry doesn't have the capability of, that just makes you stand out. Even if
sure.
you don't, and you know this, but I just want to highlight that for like any listeners that haven't listened to some of the other podcasts that we've done. Like that's something that I really have banked on through the years, like showcasing services. And like I did, I don't know, you remember years ago, but like pop sockets back in the day. I want to say
Yeah,
like
we're doing
7
pop
years
sockets
ago.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, and the service was booked maybe once or twice, but just like showcasing that at like networking events or like the bridal show, we definitely stood out. And that's a thing that you have to remember when you're like approaching the public or just like marketing your company, especially if you're new, like standing out is a huge advantage versus delivering just your standard strips, photo 4x6. Like, I think your company is really great for that. You guys always do very unique services, whether you book it for a client or not.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. And I mean that's why we did that. Like so many people donate their booths to these association things, which you should be, because like that is where all the people that are going to book you on a consistent basis live. So many people, I go to these association mixers and there's just like a photo booth and a box of props, and there's
Yeah.
just no way a planner is going to recognize or remember who you are, or even
Yeah.
even care who you are.
Yeah, because you literally just look like every other photo booth company. Even if you capture beautiful images, even if your setup is amazing, I feel like you have to really go above and beyond to stand out, to really like make the impact for, especially if you're chasing after those clients that have like the really big budgets. Because those clients usually don't want just a very cookie cutter experience. They usually want something that's unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the next one, I don't think I have it in my office. Maybe I could run out to the front room and grab something that I put together for the next WIPA event. It's rock and roll themed. It's going to be at the Hard Rock. So
How
I created,
fun.
so I created like mini LPs or vinyl record
Oh
covers.
my gosh, you
So
have
with little pull out All right, I'm gonna go grab it. You
Go
chat
get
people
it.
up for
Yeah,
a second,
yeah,
so
yeah.
there's no dead air.
It's okay if there's dead air though, because it gets filtered out. I love that Jason does all these unique services because I tend to be in that same boat. I just think in the last year I've like mellowed it out just because I pulled away a lot. But I love that we're talking about this because sometimes when you donate your booth, you want to make sure that you're investing, you're getting like the most bang from your investment of time. Like it may not cost you anything. You may do the event yourself, but just the time that you're invested in like donating your time to to these events, donating your services, like do something that stands out, do something that like makes a splash, because that's again what gave me the advantage to grow in the industry here in LA, like offering things that nobody else offered. Let's see this. Let's see this.
All right. So this was a mock-up that I built for the pitch. So the record doesn't come in and out of the sleeve on this, but it will on during the event.
So cool.
So of course, incorporating AI for the cover, and then we've got
That's
backs in
such a
there,
cool way to
our
incorporate
little
AI.
sleeves. But I've got the album glued in there for the to pitch to them.
How
But
cool.
so
We
we're
should
going to
really
have the
get
album
Nicholas
pull out
Rose
with like a
on with the AI.
QR code on the center of it for them to scan for more details or whatever. But I like that one because I think that is pitchable to a lot of different events.
Yeah, that is really cool.
And you could and they're miniature LPs, but I mean, I'm using the same size of a CD. So like if you had a client that wanted to deliver something on a CD, not that anyone has any way to play that anymore, but they could put that content on a CD and it'd be a cool
You
way
could
to
always do
deliver
like a
their CD to
QR
people.
code. You could always
Mhm.
do a QR code on the CD and then they can scan it.
Yeah, we will, but we're going to have a cardstock records in there. But
That's legit. That's so cool.
well, thank you. So we're I don't know, 13 minutes into this. I feel like we just changed the topic we were going to talk about. So now it's new products. Is that what we're going with?
Remind me what
Developing
topic
new
we're
ideas.
so we were talking about we were wanting to discuss upgrades for the photo booth. And I am not really great with this. Jason, I think, is really great with this because he's shared some of the stuff that he does within his organization, like to upgrade events pre and post. I feel like I could be better with this.
Yeah, I feel like though maybe we should split this into 2 episodes and record all the upgrade stuff in the next recording and just continue on a bit about presenting at shows and putting your best foot forward and concepts and stuff, just because we're already halfway in.
That's true. That's true. And I feel like it's not often discussed. Like we talk about on the boards, a lot of people always ask questions like, should I sponsor this nonprofit is reaching out to me, organization is reaching out to me, asking me to sponsor a photo booth, but we never really talk about like what you should be doing at these events, right? Like a lot of people do just show up with like a standard photo booth and you're not taking I mean, if you're gonna work for exposure, should get the most bang for your buck. Either get content from it, get some wows from there so that you stand out beyond just a photo booth company. You want to be that company that is the go-to. Like some client reaches out to them with some crazy request. They don't know who else to call. They'll remember you because of that event you sponsored with that crazy experience that you delivered. Like I feel a lot of companies that do sponsor events, like you're investing all your time and effort and resources, and you're not taking full advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, and always doing something. Like, don't ever just show up with your photo booth. I mean, if that's all you do, then that's all you can show up with. But if that's the case, you're not going to benefit from donating your booth. So you probably that's not the best place to donate your booth to, like a WIPA or NACE or ILEA event, because you're really going to be wasting your time. Like if you're just showing up with a standard photo booth and props and standard backdrop, you are going to look just like the other companies that they
They've
use,
already
and you're not
seen.
going to stand out. You'd be using your time more wisely by just showing up yourself and just meeting these people and getting to know them and whatnot, because they know what a photo booth looks like.
Yeah.
So if you get the chance to showcase, you've got to try and do something new and unique, something that either they've never seen before or
You've never seen before.
Like the first time I did trading cards, I was a genius. And I didn't come up with the concept, obviously. A lot of my peers had been doing them for years, but no one in my market was. And our planners and things thought that it was my original concept. And people, like the entire party, were just like, "You are so incredible. Like, how did you come up with this?" And I'm just like, "Hey, that's what I do. I just come up with incredible things." And, take credit for it. There's no reason not to. It's obviously you don't have to lie and say you invented it, but and even like I just showcased trading cards again a couple weeks ago, just because someone asked me to do something for a casino themed night. I was trying to think of something fun and unique other than just a photo booth. Trading cards are all the rage right now, so I know the planners are watching for that sort of thing, or else they're going to see them, so I want to make sure they know that I'm doing them. But I didn't want to do just a standard trading card, so I don't know if I've got one in here or not. So we came up with playing cards, and we created like custom card backs with our logo and stuff incorporated, and then on the front we incorporated AI to turn people into either jokers, kings, or queens, and created basically a custom playing card. And not a trading card, but it fit the theme as something they hadn't seen before. They thought I was incredible. One of them was telling me I should do a press release. I'm just like, slow down. A trading card is not press release worthy, but I appreciate the support.
I mean, it does have the wow factor, and I love the playing cards. I did that for one of my clients a couple years back, and I loved it just because it's still in line with like the card. It's just it matching their theme just took it to another level, and I love that you are incorporating AI into it because I'm struggling to like embrace AI for functionality, like actual
It's got to be
events.
functionality.
Yeah, like we talked about this when we did like the live with the guys. Like, I feel like just throwing AI in just to throw it in is such a weird concept to me. And lately I just have not put in the effort. And I hate saying this because I feel like we all as business owners we wear a lot of hats. And then there's just some times where you just like I just am gonna coast with what so like I have not been delving into all the unique creative, and I feel like the industry has moved so drastic in the last like 6 to 12 months, and that's kind of when I stopped working on the creative side and like brainstorming ideas and stuff because I've always been that person that has focused on like trying to be innovative and or at least not innovative but like at least trying to explore all the unique services and all the technology that's coming out in our industry. And I haven't been doing that, Jason. So like listening to you and seeing all the cool stuff that you're putting out, it's like pushing me to like get back into it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if our AI episode, trying to look at our calendar right now to see if that's going to come out before or after.
This one?
Our ChatGPT one. Yeah. Where is that at? It'll have already come out. So yeah, just going back to that same ChatGPT episode, I mean, just use that to your advantage. Like have it scan your website when you're trying to think of new concepts. Have it scan your website so it knows what products you already have, or else build a custom GPT so that you can let it know what products you have and say, I've got a casino themed event coming up. Can you give me ideas? Help me workshop. Like that's one thing that ChatGPT is really, really good at, is helping you brainstorm. And, as long as you just don't take those ideas and say, nah, those are all stupid. Say like, oh, I really like number 2, but it doesn't work because of this reason. And you could just keep workshopping it and get deeper and deeper and figure out a concept that works. Like if you're looking for a way to do something new with products you already have. So it doesn't have to be new, just a twist on a product. Yeah. But as far as like new products, I mean, I guess I don't really come out with too many new products. Like the hologram thing is kind of unique that we created that in-house ourselves. But like if you're watching the photo booth groups for new products, like obviously when people are doing products, they keep those hidden until they start like getting out there. Like I
so like
questioned
2 or 3 years
if I
later.
should be like sharing the hologram thing right away before I had a chance to like monetize it before other people jump in. But most of the time people will keep that stuff kind of close to their chest and not share it too widely until it kind of gets out. Like everyone's doing trading cards, and then it started getting out, so then people said, all right, everyone's doing trading cards, now we'll just pull the curtain down and let everyone know what we're doing. And there's still some elevated playing cards like that Min's doing that he's still keeping those things secret. And I think John Place is doing some pretty amazing playing cards as well, or trading cards as well.
Credit. I'm doing some pretty amazing trading cards.
I haven't seen yours. I'm sure they're amazing. Everything you do is amazing, but I haven't seen yours. But John's got like the hologram.
Hologram, yeah. I've been doing that. Yeah. I've been doing hologram.
He's been sharing it, and his look really good.
Yeah,
so
I just don't.
I imagine yours look just as good, Lap.
I just don't share a lot. I mean, like, honestly, I love that we're having this conversation because, like, I feel like I have been dropping off on, like, just being as active with everything in terms of, like, the business. Like, I've always been pushing it. I'm trying to keep, like, at the forefront. And I feel like this last year, I have just kind of, like, just taken on events and just delivered, like, just a very cookie cutter type experiences. And it's not that I don't have the capability, it's just, I don't know. And having this conversation with you, and I love this about our industry, is when you keep like your peers nearby, like within reach, and you're having these conversations, it kind of kicks your butt into gear. Like, like when you're starting to fall off, when you're starting to like not be as invested in like trying to stay up to date with like new software, hardware, technology, which is where I'm at right now, which is really weird for me because I've always been the first to like test new software and things. And the past year, I've just kind of like fallen off. And every time we get on podcast, every time we jump on live, it really like, I'm just like, oh gosh, like in the back of my mind. And I know a lot of owners go through this because we have moments where we're just like on that like high of doing as much as we can. And then we have those moments where we're just kind of like, I'm good for now. I'm in that moment where I'm like, I'm good for now. So like having this conversation with you and hearing all this cool stuff that you're doing makes it, I mean, I'm not there yet, but it does like remind me like how much I enjoyed exploring our industry because we have so many cool things that we do in our industry. And when you don't delve into it and you're just more sitting in, like, I feel like right now I'm in the backseat just watching everything, and I feel like I got to jump in and get back into the action, if that makes sense. I know you know what I'm talking about because
Sure.
Yeah. So I love that, you know being so involved in the industry, it's pushing me to like get back into like being involved in like exploring and testing out all this new technology. And in the last year, like I said, in the last year, a lot has changed.
Yeah, a lot has changed for me in the last year as well, but I think you more than most, a lot has changed.
Yeah, I mean, just like AI has just, I mean, and we talked about inviting Nicholas Rhodes on here because he has that AI software that's pretty amazing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so fast changing. Like we never had a conversation about AI 2 years ago. That was not even a topic. That was not even a thing, And now the things that we're talking about is everything
Yeah.
goes back to AI.
Yeah, it's funny because like a couple of years ago, everyone was like, "What's the new trend going to be? What's it going to be? How can you predict it?" And no one said AI. Like it wasn't even like something someone considered as being a new crazy trend or whatever.
I think Nicholas. I think Nicholas. There was like a select few in our industry
Sure.
that foresaw it. Nicholas, Matthew. They saw it
Jeff
before the rest.
Was very early on, working on very early on as well.
And
we do need to get Nicholas on. He's going to join us for the next like live check-in, but we need to get him on
good.
an episode as well.
Yeah.
But if you're looking, like if you want to be one of those companies that are front of the line with technology and what's new and creating new concepts,
you cannot be sitting in the back seat.
Yeah, you've got to like be watching a lot of stuff. You've got to be watching all the award shows. You got to be watching like the Met
music
gala, the music videos, like
TV,
TikTok, like you just have to be watching for anything that people are doing and it's cool with photo or video and thinking like, how can I recreate this? And also, some industry leaders follow their Instagram, but if you see something that's really neat and new, like don't just steal their concept, like reach out to them and discuss it with them, and certainly don't go sharing it to like Facebook because then they'll just block you from seeing their Instagram. And because even if they do keep it secret, they're still like they still need to market it to their people, so they're still putting it on their own Instagrams and things like that. They're just not posting it to the groups.
Yeah, but I definitely agree. Like, if you are wanting to be at the forefront of trends, like if you're on the groups and you're looking for the trends, it's already too late. You are just following, you're playing catch up, you know? So I definitely think like tinkering with like concepts, like you should be doing that. If you really want to grow your business, you really should. And that's what I used to do when at the beginning of when I was all in and like just really putting in the hours and put investing into the business. Like I was most of my time was actually invested in like the R&D of like concepts, you know, things that you imagine in your mind, you start tinkering with it. And we talked about this. You have like a board where all your crazy ideas are all jotted down and it makes no sense to anybody but you, you
Yeah,
know?
and I've
Like,
got like totes of like half projects that hopefully I
yeah.
come back to it at some time. But
Yeah. So I think that's something that you should be if you are wanting to explore like the world of of photo booths outside of just like your standard experiences. You really should be, you know, brainstorming, you should be tinkering with ideas, you should be messing around with like product, you know, some things are going to be a bust. Some things that you invest in, they don't go anywhere, you know? They go to like one WIPA show and then you're like you show it off and it amazes people and maybe they book it, maybe they don't, but everything that you do is like a step closer towards the direction that you want to go, you know, like being able to offer like creative experiences. Because if you don't tinker it with it at all, there's no way for you to start marketing because you don't even have content for it. You know, like I feel
right.
a lot of the big heavy hitters, like they were tinkering with stuff like in their garage, you know. Gosh, what's her name? Kelly. She was such a creative. Like I used to follow her work, but she
I
would
don't remember her name,
share.
but especially her light painting was really good.
Yeah, she was like one of the first to like do light painting from what I remember. If I'm
Hmm.
wrong, guys, I'm sorry, but her creativity was like just out of pocket. And the thing is that she had mentioned that a lot of the stuff that she put out, she never even booked for a client. It's just you put those creative concepts out there and the clients see it. So whether you book it or not, it doesn't matter because what matters is you're creating like an image for your brand. You're creating like this idea to your clients and to like your planners and your organizers that like you have the capability of delivering stuff that is insane and impossible. And that's the thing. A lot of your clients, a lot of your planners, a lot of like your corporate clients, they get requests from their clients that are like wild,
Hmm.
where when you get approached with it you're like I don't think that's possible, and then you as a business owner you should not be saying no. Like, and I'm saying this because if you say no you're limiting your opportunity. Like you should always be like let's see if we could figure this out. No should not be in your vocabulary as a business owner.
Well, I mean, as far as like obviously, if someone comes to you and says, "Say I've got a $200 budget," no is okay then, or else some kind of explanation or whatever. But as far as like,
Budget. I'll talk about like
sure,
things that concepts that people approach you with, and
and
it sounds so it sounds so impossible because there's no software. And that's the thing. A lot of these heavy hitters, they're not doing events where you can just buy a software and then get it done. Like they really have to find complex workflows. They have to figure out, you know, different types of software to like interface with each other. So it's not, if you really want to get into like these large events, like if you're following a lot of these guys and you're like aspiring to be doing these kind of events, you cannot be scared to explore things outside of our industry.
yeah, and also, I mean, have a roadmap, of course. Like this doesn't apply to everybody. Like obviously, if it's not your cup of tea and someone reaches out and says, "Hey, can you do this concept?" but you just want to do regular photo booths, and
That's
say
okay.
no, that's
Yeah.
not what we do. You may want to reach out to one of these other guys and you can still be successful in that area as well. Like if you think of someone like Mirror that is incredibly successful, they don't do any of those things. They just
Yeah.
do one thing, like glamour color or glamour black and white, and that's it. And they've made an entire brand and business out of that, and they do it
Yeah.
really well, and that's what they're known for. And no one's calling them up asking them to do
Well,
Vogues or
they do
trading
GIFs.
cards or
They do
whatever.
GIFs now. They branched out to GIFs.
Branched out the GIFs. So, if you don't want to do all these new crazy
It's
things, if it's
okay.
not your jam, if new technology scares you, that's fine too.
Yeah. I I'm just speaking from like my stance because I like you and me, we both moving in that direction where we want to be doing, the creative type of work. And and
Right.
I like that you brought that up because we always talk about this. There's some companies that are all about budget boost for volume. There's companies that are about like that one big project that like the one, what is that, quality over quantity. So we all run our businesses different. I'm just speaking from my own experience of like wanting to stand out in my market and being very niche. So that's like my business model, and that's Jason's too. We're very similar in that. So there's nothing wrong with being cookie cutter. I there's a lot of companies. There's that one company that we talked about that pulls in like seven figures. I forgot what we were when we were on live. We were talking about that. Like they just do basic boosts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they're
Very
like
basic.
volume based. Yeah, they're volume based and they're value price, and that's just the business model. So definitely go by how you want to approach business. But I'm just saying, like on the creative side, if you're trying to do these type of events where you see like high profile events that some of the larger companies do, that stuff is like more complex and it's a lot of investment. When I first started, I remember like a big conversation was like corporate money. Like the corporate money is amazing. Everybody wants to go into corporate. But as I grew the years of experience in the industry, I learned why. I learned why the corporate money was good because those projects are not, you can't throw a project together that quick for a lot of these company events. Like you're really working for every dime that you make.
Yeah. For like the Sketchbot, I mean, it's kind of unique since it was such a rush and I had to order and stuff. But I mean, that event was only 90 minutes, but there was, I don't know how many hours beforehand of getting the stuff here and learning the stuff and doing all of our testing. And of course the next one won't take that long, but I'm
Yeah.
still learning the software. There are some things that I'm looking at and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that wasn't in their instruction video. I don't know what this button does. So I'll need to take some notes and ask them some questions, and I'm going to, over the next few weeks, going to dissect this software and find out what I can really do with it that's different from what other people are doing. It's always about trying to be a little bit different somehow. And I've played with a couple ideas already that didn't work out how I hope. But we'll keep pushing it and figure out what we can do.
We should invite Justin on here because he's really great with Justin McBeal. We should invite him on there because he's one of those, I can't even say up and coming. I mean, like he's grown so fast, so like in such a short time frame, and it's because he has like that creative approach to everything. So he delivers services that other companies deliver, but he just adds that twist. And sometimes it's all that. It's just that small twist that just makes you so much different, even though it's not really that different. It's like,
and he's definitely a guy that's in his garage tinkering and figuring stuff out. He messaged me a few weeks ago with a concept that I don't want to talk about because I don't know if he's going to launch a product from it, but he showed me some conceptual things and it looked really great. Like same thing. It was I think it was in a warehouse and he's just walking around and there's tools banging and stuff. And I just love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that about wraps up like coming up with new ideas. There's not too much more than like research and keeping your attention where your attention needs to be, where trending things are happening and trying stuff out. And
you never
like
know
Lab
where
said,
your
like,
inspiration comes from.
People don't know if you're not booking things. Like personally, we always do a free event. Like even though we did one event with the Sketchbots now, we're still going to look for a like gala or charity event that we could donate it to. Again, just so we can get tons of content, and we'll have a content creator out there recording everything and it'll kind of work out some of the kinks and give us marketing material. And people don't know that was a free event. They just see us out there doing that. This WIPA thing, we got some content for that, and we're going to be creating some videos and stuff of we're calling it Hologlam. And people don't know that was a free event. Marketers just see that we're doing something crazy and cool and that they've never seen before. And it's really great because when I've shown a few people and they're like, oh, I've never seen that before. And we're like, yeah, because we invented it. No one's seen it before. You're the first one. So it's fun to be able to do that. But anyways, we already kind of teased the next episode. I rearranged things a little bit so that it will be the very next episode that we're going to talk about upgrades. So see you next week, and upgrade should be good. That'll be very actionable episode. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
To keep the conversation going, join our Facebook group, Pro Booth Talk Community. If you enjoyed this podcast, consider showing your support by subscribing, liking, reviewing, or sharing this topic with someone in the industry.